All right, everybody, welcome back to the Move podcast. I know this does not look and feel like any other Move podcast. We're currently sitting here in Mallorca, Spain. We're in the middle of the Move Mallorca camp organized by Mike and Emily Closure. We've got a whole host of our campers here in front of us. We're 2 days in? I feel like I'm 20 days in after a night with Sir Bradley Wiggins. But we, honey, we're supposed to be talking about the World Championships. As you can imagine, with a crew like this, which I'll get to introducing in a second, we're not going to talk a lot about bike racing today. At least the bike race that we watched this morning. But I'm joined on that end by our sensei, Johan Brunel. Next to Johan is, of course, the great Jan Ullrich, who sat on this very couch last year. Jan, thanks for being back.
Thank you.
I'm going to save this one for a sec right here. The greatest teammate that ever lived, George Hincapie. The man next to his left will agree that he's the greatest, one of the greatest, I think the greatest teammate that ever lived. We're joined by Mark Cavendish. How many stage wins we got so far?
Many.
No, in the Tour.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I thought you meant we.
Well, we might get to we. 34? Okay, we're going to talk about that. And in the middle, we're joined by the former knight, Bradley Wiggins. I was contacted this morning by the Buckingham Palace.
The former knight.
And you have been stripped of your knighthood. After what you did to us last night.
You did it yourselves.
No, we tried 18 different times to leave. The former,
I don't know if that was
the
true,
former
right?
Sir Bradley Wiggins.
Your wife was just telling me how she had to drag us out, and we were like, "We're going out."
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, the former Sir Bradley Wiggins. Thanks for being here, guys.
That's right, mate. Thank you.
I do think we should talk a little bit about bike racing. We should talk about the World Championships, which occurred this morning in Australia. There's actually a lot to talk about. A little bit from the race perspective, maybe even more outside of the race. Obviously, an exceptional performance by Remco. Of course, Mark is your teammate, which is something maybe cool to reflect on or talk about. But Johan, that was your pick, and you're one of your.
Well, it was my pick on our other show, Outcomes.
Right.
The
show that people listen to when they want to make money?
Yeah.
That show.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah. So
everybody, all these rich guys listen to it. They're like, yes, make money.
No, I think we saw. I mean, the kid is amazing, and I think we're privileged to have Mark here, who's a teammate of Remco. So maybe you can go a little bit more in detail of what kind of rider he is. I mean, me personally, I followed him since he started racing when he quit soccer. He did the half marathon in between, 1 hour 10 minutes, just like.
Wow.
And then he started racing and basically won everything in every single category. And now, I mean, he wins Liège-Bastogne-Liège, wins San Sebastian, wins the Vuelta, and wins the Worlds. And all those races he won was with absolute dominance. There was not even close to the second one.
And just to break that down, I think, because you can say somebody ran a 1 hour, 10-minute half marathon for fun. Just to break that down, that's 530 miles. So let's just go out and have fun and run 13 miles in 530s.
And interestingly
Shows
enough,
you he's got a big engine.
he points out in his post-race interview, I mean, he just won the Junior World Championships, 4 years ago? In the same style. He just broke the best juniors in the world off his wheel. 4 years later, he rides the best pros.
And that's
right
with
off
that
his wheel.
injury in between, remember, as well.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Let's not forget about that.
The Tour of Lombardia. People do forget about that. And we'll put up a slide of Remco when he was not that long ago.
But I mean, he was. I mean, it's such a fun picture. It was when he was a kid.
Yeah.
Being a fan of cycling, he has the World Championships jersey on. I think
Quick-Step.
it was probably Tom Bonens. Yeah, Quick-Step. And now so many years later, he is world champion in Quick-Step again.
Yeah.
So incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we keep breaking down the World Championships, I failed to remember that we're going to talk about some of our partners. Today's show, new partner. George and I are rocking our True Classic T-shirts. This brand makes T-shirts that actually fit, not to mention they're super soft. When you're ripped like us, not really me anymore, but when you're ripped like George, finding the right T-shirt can be tough. But this one goes above and beyond. Some shirts are too tight, some shirts are too loose. Not True Classic, all for a very affordable price. Don't stop at teas. Okay, they also have other products. And there's also, here's a pro tip: you can bundle your favorites with this with the pack builder on their site. 25% off if you go to trueclassic.com with the code THEMOVE. You get free shipping included on all purchases over $100. Again, that's trueclassic.com, and the code is THEMOVE. Today's show also brought to you by Element. We talk about it a lot. I know a lot of us here at this camp have been drinking the Element. It is our go-to hydration source. Here we've got raspberry salt, we've got citrus salt, we've got my personal favorite, orange salt, 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, 60 milligrams of magnesium, no sugar, no gluten, no BS. Special offer for our listeners: you can go get a free sample pack, so you get all these different flavors, and you can dial in the things you like the best. Head on over to drinklmnt.com/themove. Get your free sample pack. Again, drinklmnt.com/themove. And for anybody that tuned in before the show, if you remember and you're watching the live feed and we're getting ready for this thing, you realize that we actually hammer these products. George and I were hammering.
We should have drank some last night.
We needed any kind of help we could have got after the pounding that's the former night Bradley Wiggins gave us. Let's go back to the race. We have to also talk about Mathieu Van Der
Yeah,
Poel.
I think
We still don't. I'm so curious, and of course, we live in a generation or a day and age where security cameras are everywhere. So whatever allegedly happened, the question is whether or not he pushed somebody or not. Just to be clear, this is not when you hear about incidents at hotels, one's mind almost always goes to something of a more nefarious nature. This was some people rabble-rousing out in the hallways, making a lot of noise. He's trying to sleep for the World Championships. He was sleeping in a different hotel from the team. And after the third or fourth time, I guess they were knocking on his door and running away. So It was some kids. He got pissed off, and an altercation ensued. So we don't know if it was there's a couple versions here, but you got to believe, Johan, that and maybe you have some more intel, as you always do. You got to believe there was some security footage.
I think we're gonna have to wait. I think the big event of the beginning of the race was obviously Mathieu Van Der Poel pulling out after 20, 30 kilometers, and then everybody got up to speed with what happened. I think it's very unfortunate. I think he was one of the really, really big favorites.
Yeah.
Definitely
not to mention you fly halfway around the world.
Yeah.
Here you finally regained this form that you've shown at previous times this season, previous times in your career. You fly half. It's not like you went from Holland to Italy. I mean, halfway around the world, and then this happens. Yeah. I mean, that's got to completely
I think, having reflected on it a little bit during the day, it sounds very much unlike Mathieu Van Der Poel.
Yeah.
I mean, Cav, you're still with him in the peloton. I think he's a very professional guy.
Which, by the way, now is the time to say if he's not.
I don't know him that well.
Okay. All right. You sure?
Right.
Breaking news. He's actually a complete dickhead.
I'm old, aren't I, compared to I'm just like that. They're all like kids now.
Yeah.
Like
you were when. Yeah,
exactly.
I was like, who the hell is this kid?
Yeah.
How many years are you pro? Are you now?
17.
Do you remember how much shit you used to give me when I was like 16-year pro? Like, you've been doing this for 30 years. When are you gonna quit? And we are 17 years pro, and gonna go a couple more. So we're gonna do about as much as I did.
I'm not gonna look as good as you.
You're hard enough to understand in English, so lean a little forward so we can. I can't hear you.
Yeah, but look like
Poor Jan is like, I don't understand these people.
Don't worry, Jan. We don't understand them either.
Absolutely.
I told Jan before. I said, listen, I have a hard time understanding these two. So I can imagine if it wasn't my first language.
But it's actually funny the people we have on the couch. We had Jan who was like,
You want me to shout like you?
Yeah.
Shout boom at everyone.
we're talking about Remco Evenepoel, who won the Junior World Championships 4 years ago. Jan was a phenom as a junior. Had the pressure of the whole country of Germany coming in. You guys were good, but you weren't what you turned into later on. So
He was Junior World Champion.
You were Junior World Champion. This guy's been like 10 times. How many times World Champion? 10 times Junior World Champion.
He's also been stripped of those
But
after
you were
last night.
You were Junior World Champion, but you were never a Tour de France rider.
No.
So you guys, like, the
Yeah, he won the Tour at 21.
The path to the top was completely different.
No, but I think it's very similar to Jan. You know, Jan was the hope of the nation.
Yeah.
And maybe Jan, you can tell a little bit what pressure you felt and what Remco, who's now, you know, obviously after winning the Vuelta and now being world champion, what he's facing. You know, but you were there at that age.
Yeah, first, congratulations for him. No? It was a big race, and wow, he's been so serene, and he's so young.
Mm.
The first, what I can say, not too much party in the winter. This was my thing.
Yeah.
And Van der Poel sounds more Jan Ullrich. No, joke. But yeah, he win all. He win the Grand Tour. Now the world champion. He can feel next year in the rainbow jersey. All watch him.
Yeah, a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure. But I think he have a good team. He have good friends. I don't know.
Yeah,
he married. I hear
he's gonna get married. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is important things.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But don't you guys think?
Who hasn't Googled his girlfriend?
Yeah.
I did.
But don't you guys think that that's typical about?
Meanwhile, everybody's now Googling
Anna's
Remco
head
Evenepoel
down,
girl.
like, oh, God,
Anna is actually also Googling her now. You should marry her.
Now, I think it's typical of a big champion. That makes the difference. How to deal with the pressure. You know, like you guys have all been there, and
Well, it's different for Belgium, isn't it? Like I
Yes.
think if Belgium,
Great point.
like especially like you've seen, like Remco, he just come and he was good, and you know, like, I think he divided opinion a lot of time.
Yeah.
And that comes natural, just being
because he's
naturally
outspoken,
good.
right?
Yeah. And then I think this year, like I think many more people like warm to him. Like, the
Yeah, oh yeah,
Belgian public and
definitely.
that. Well, the Belgian people, like obviously, when we came up in cycling went big in the UK. When you came up, cycling went big in the US. When you came up, cycling went big in Germany, and it created this like hysteria in all our countries. I think for
there's
that.
also-
But
yeah.
Belgium knows cycling, don't they? I think if the Belgian people want, if they want to keep him like grounded, like and not grounded, but if they want to keep him as
Chill.
the poster boy for you, it's quite up to the Belgian public who know cycling to deal with that as much as him, because they
Yeah.
can, you know.
But
you know
there's
what?
always the comparison. He'll be the next Eddie Merckx.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the same with the French, who was looking for the next. You know, you guys, it was always the next Le Monde.
Mhm.
And I think that's the problem.
And also, especially now, he's world champion at 22, which is what Eddie Merckx was at
and
22.
how he's winning. He's
Yeah.
winning like Merckx.
Same thing,
Right.
yeah.
And winning Grand Tours.
Yeah.
And
Which is the thing. You can't be the next Eddie Merckx if you can't win a Grand Tour.
Yeah. But I you know, there's never going to be a next Eddie Merckx. That's, you know, he can be as good as he wants. You cannot compare these eras. You know, I mean,
Right.
back in the days,
That's just the
it was the Belgians, the Italians, the French, and the Spanish, and that was it. You know, and a few Germans.
But you had it when you won the Tour at 21. There was the comparison: is this guy going to win 6-7 tours?
Yeah.
exactly.
And it's hard then to carry that mantle, isn't it?
Yeah, all people want now even next year the Tour de France.
Yeah,
But this is the first point.
Yeah.
This, and maybe he's not ready for this. But
It's whether the team is ready for it.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Should he do the Tour de France next year? Should Remco race the Tour de France next year?
He's in a. I feel sorry for him because him and Patrick will kind of lose his situation with that. Because either he doesn't go, or he goes, and maybe he wins. You know, maybe he's not ready. I don't. Like, he's super good. And the thing is, if you say to Remco, "You're gonna go to the Tour de France now," he'll channel everything
Yeah,
to go. He'll do everything to. It won't phase him. He'll do everything he can. You know, and again, he can deal with. He's really good at dealing with the pressure because he knows what he can do and
Yeah.
he'll do it. But there's a difference between dealing with pressure and expectation, isn't there?
Yeah.
Pressure you can control, expectation is
Yeah.
from someone else, and that's he deals with it super well. And I think there's very few riders who can or who have ever.
He's got an old
dealt
head on
with
him,
that,
doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's
I agree with that.
You know?
Did anyone? This is good. Just talking about going back a little bit on the race today, because it's no secret there has been going back years this tension between him and Wout van Aert, who's also, you know, amazing rider. But did anybody see either any comments from Wout van Aert or any interaction between the two after the
I have
immediately?
seen a
At
little
the-
interaction. They
They were hugging it
Wout
They were hugging it
congratulated
out.
him, but
Side hug.
Well, no, I mean professional hug.
But
No, he was smiling, yo.
Yeah,
He was smiling.
okay.
Well, I did notice that all of your teammates from the different countries went up to Remco.
Yeah.
It seems like he's well liked
Yeah.
amongst the team.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
thing I noticed, but also noticed that Wout van Aert did attack
That's what I'm going to
pretty
come
hard.
to. Yeah.
No radio communication, so
Yeah.
maybe he didn't know quite where he was, but he knew he was away.
So Remco was in the front,
Yeah.
and Van Aert attacked from the back.
Yeah.
And then when he saw that he wasn't alone, then he pulled off. But it's a different race, you know. I mean, Remco was in that big group of 20 or something riders, so he didn't really know.
And Wout actually said at the finish line too that he didn't even know that they were sprinting for the podium.
Oh,
He didn't even know because no radio communication.
Yeah.
Tons of people. You're not exactly sure how many people you've caught. So,
well, that's actually not right. That's not right.
well, what he said, he did not know he
I
was.
mean, those important races should have radio communication.
Well,
Yeah. Why
You
not?
don't. You don't agree. Is what you're
Yeah.
saying. Yeah. And you can see a race that a race. And you actually guys just reminded me of that. If you turned on the race this morning, it looked like something was strange. That's it. I mean, if guys don't, he was asking, and now that makes sense. He was asking the camera guy, "Hey, what's my time gap? What's my time gap?" He didn't. That completely changes the dynamic. Guys have been racing for their whole lives.
What do you guys think about no radio to the world?
I don't understand it.
I quite like
agree.
it.
You like it?
I quite like it. I quite like racing without radio. I'm all for
Yeah, but why
racing
the
without-
worlds? Why choose the worlds to do it? You know, it seems strange. So
Olympics and Worlds.
Yeah, but Mark,
because it
in
makes
your
it a
case,
race, doesn't it?
in your
You know?
case, it's completely different. You're the type of rider you actually don't need a radio because you know what your goal is, and your teammates know what their goal is at that moment. It's independent of what's happened in the race. They need to catch everybody back, and they need to come for first. You know, but if you're talking about tactics in terms of stage races, but also like the World Championships, I think these events are way too important to, you know. Not we live in an era of technology and this basic communication.
We're gonna always get. I'm always the outsider with this conversation because I think racing should be pure racing. You should kind of know what's going on. You know, for me, don't get me wrong. I use a radio. I use a power meter. I use a computer. But I'm all for having it out. I quite like it. It makes it less predictable.
Well, today's. I mean, your today's race would support your argument.
Did you have radios when you won the Worlds?
No, we didn't.
I don't think so.
Couldn't even
No.
hear it. Do you remember the Olympics as well? We couldn't hear each other when we were shouting in London. Do you remember? You couldn't. It was so loud. We were shouting. You couldn't hear each other. No, we didn't have radios. Right? Yeah, quite.
Because you
But
punched
you
in the
had
final,
you
then,
had a
didn't
set.
punch
You know who heard the Colombian definitely heard that deal that he struck with Vino.
With Vino.
Yeah,
Uran.
he heard that deal. $250,000.
Yeah, we should break down when you won the Worlds. You guys
He heard that deal.
a simple plan. Go to the front.
We might edit that out too. I don't know.
Not much help. You had you pulling all day long.
Yeah.
I mean, that was it was. You didn't really quite need radios for that. You had one tactic. You wanted it to be a sprint. You had some of the best riders in the world to control that. Of course, it was hard. It wasn't set in stone. But what was the communication like that day?
Just knew what we were doing, but I think that's part and parcel of going in with your three-race plan. And doing it, admittedly, like Jan said, it's different for a sprinter. It's easier to control for a sprint. But I still think you go in with a plan, you try and execute that plan. You shouldn't need what's going on. If you do it right, it's part of the beauty of race. I grew up loving racing, and I'm quite a fan of just racing. Do you know?
Yeah, no, and then, like you saw the attack
We've
today.
noticed. Yeah.
The attack today wasn't a very conventional attack. He kind of rode away at the start-finish line. Wasn't a climb, just kind of went, got 10-meter gap, and rode
But
away.
he knew what he was doing.
Exactly,
He knew he
yeah.
was doing that.
Yeah.
When he won the age, like when he went to the top of La Redoute, he knew when he was going that whole day. He knew what he was doing.
He's full send and full commit, and he believes it.
But I think also what's really like to see these differences with which he wins. It's so unusual nowadays. You know, races are won or lost by such a small difference, and he just wins these one-day races, Liège, San Sebastian, and the Worlds. It's like okay,
Different fashion.
he just
But that
He's
that
racing
is
and
kinda-
everybody else is
that
racing for
style
second.
of racing, or that style of keeping people guessing, is going to endear him. That is going to be a very popular thing for him. That's he needs.
Or it could go the opposite. That you're not going to guess because you know he's going to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you know?
No.
Like,
Well, I personally think like the moment he goes, there's nobody who. I mean, they all know he's gonna go.
Yeah, I mean they were right. They were right there.
Nobody
They were
can go.
But that's
You know?
is that not a beautiful thing to see
Yeah.
out of sport when you know he's going to go, they all know he's going to go, but no one can go with him.
Yeah.
No one does go with him. Like, that's
But he got
they're them special moments.
Yeah,
with
Only this
with 2
sport
laps to
brings
go,
them.
just passing the finish line, he just went. And,
Well, we can't just like breeze over Cav talking about how he loves to race, because the whole world, and we're not going to get into specifics here, but the whole world wants to know I think we already know that you are racing. It doesn't matter if it's for another year or two. Obviously, we want you back. The whole world wants you back on the main stage.
at the Tour.
At the Tour de France. That is the main stage. We're going back.
Hope so, yeah.
Yeah, I hope so too. Now, if you had to just say, right? Because we're speaking about Eddie Merckx as well, but you're now tied with Eddie Merckx for the most stage wins of all time. If you had to say, let's just assume all these other things. We're not going to say where you're going or where you may go. We're not even going to say if that team is a team that gets into the Tour, whatever. But let's just assume you're in the Tour 2023. Do you break the record?
I reckon so, yeah. But yeah. Yeah. Are you kidding me? Like, yeah.
We'll go?
I don't think
Former knight? What do you
No, he
think?
does. I mean, you put him on the start line this year, he would have broke it.
I agree.
You know, if it's just one stage win, it's one. It might not be 4, it might not be 5 this time, but you would never say no to him winning one stage.
Yeah.
Today, I don't think I can win a stop. I wouldn't be carrying on next year.
Right.
If it was,
And
not even if I didn't think of it.
you must. I would think you are just. I mean, if that is right there in
But what
your
clicked,
sights.
what clicked in you? Because I don't know if it was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, you were just not in the place you are now. You didn't have the confidence. You didn't have the love. You were talking about how the sport's changed. It's all about intervals. These guys are robots. I remember talking, and then all of a sudden you just started winning. Like
I was
you
fucking
broke
sick
out.
as well. I
Yeah.
can swear on this.
Yeah,
Can you swear on this?
Talk about that.
I don't know. Hang on. Let me think about it.
Fucking right, motherfucker.
I was sick.
Just don't say Carlos Sastre. Whatever happens. Don't say Carlos Sastre or Chris Horner. That's the only thing you can say.
Oh, you said it.
You said it. So you were sick and you were just in a bad place,
And
man.
that was it, yeah. And it just took me a long time to get back from it. Yeah. Long story short, and I come back and I just did. Like, it's not like there was some sort of, like, remember, it was always news when I didn't win. Remember?
Yeah.
You know?
What a statement.
It was the same for you, though, wasn't it?
Right.
You know?
No.
But did you go? The question is, you were sick and then you got healthy.
Yeah.
Before you got sick, you were sort of criticizing the way that cycling is going, the training methods. Did you start doing those training methods? Whereas robotic training methods? Yes.
He caved.
You caved, right?
I don't think there's any other way to
There's
be
no other
performing.
way.
You have to keep up with everybody else.
You're the only one on this couch that has gone past that. Of course, we all trained really hard, but our lives weren't measured to every.
Yeah, but he's the only one who's still racing. Everybody here is already retired
But
since a long time.
He's been part of it, and he's still successful, still winning.
You just got to adapt, don't you? That's it. You just got to adapt to everything.
Yeah.
It's philosophy, anything.
Yeah. All right.
I'm not on TikTok. I'm not like it.
Thank God. Speaking of updates, so Jan, we have. First of all, it's great to see you again. It was.
Thank you.
I will. As ever, the world knows, I know this man pretty well. I love this man even more. This is most people who will watch today watched a year ago, and most, your life has been very public. Our relationship has been very public. There's a different man even from a year ago. As we all talk amongst ourselves, I said, I was happy about last year. This is even, and we all go through our own processes and work and struggles, and this is a different man in 1 year, which is great to see. But a slight announcement or some announcements on your side. So Amazon is making a documentary about your life, which we've had the crew here for a few days, had them follow some of the training rides and do some interviews. That's a big announcement. That's going to be a hell of a story. You have had an amazing life. The highs, the lows.
This is true, and I'm ready for speak over my life.
Yeah.
2 years ago, I was not ready.
Right.
And now I have friends and motivated me and tell this is a good way for let all behind you.
Yeah.
and then you can start new. Yeah? And now I'm proud. Today I have an interview 1 hour ago over the bullshit time in Mallorca. With cocaine, with all the bullshit.
Wow.
But I let it out, and then I feel me better.
Good.
I feel me free. And I spent time in Mallorca with. Look at this couch.
Jan, just be glad.
Hey, look at this.
Yeah. Be happy. Hey,
Yeah.
I don't know how you say happy in German or thankful.
Glücklich.
Or
Glücklich.
all these, whatever the greatest thing
Yeah.
you could say. Be glad you were not there last night. It was a terrible experience. This man,
Not me.
no, this man,
I wasn't there
literally.
last night.
And just to give, So when does the documentary come out?
I think I have a lot of things to do in the winter. End of next. End of next. I think
End of 2023. Okay, streaming worldwide on Amazon. Great. So it's a hell of a story. Yeah.
I hope.
Ann and I just went to see a great band at Red Rocks in Denver. One of my favorite bands called The War on Drugs. It's nothing to do with cycling or parties. It's the name of the band from Philly. But they have this great song and or a great line in one of their songs, and it says, "Be the writer of your own story." And that's, we are all sort of living our lives and, raising kids and trying to be successful and essentially writing our own story. But if you think about that line and you break out that line, and this is the opportunity that all of us have, but especially you, Jan, is you can be the writer. We've all had our lives written about.
Yeah.
Every day. But at the end of the day, we can be the writers of our own story. And so I'm super proud of you, brother. It's a different guy. It's a different guy from a year ago. And a year ago, I was like, wow, this is
Lance about it. You were here last year, and we were thrilled to have you back. But this year, you have stepped it up a level, and
step by step,
Yeah, of course. But it's great to see you that way, and
I'm very happy I can stay here again and meet your friends.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of time on the bike and be joking, and this is a great time for me too.
Yeah, great.
We were speaking about the World Championships today, right? So
I think that happened.
George, you and I, we are out because we are the two only ones who have never been world champions. But how many world titles do we have on this set? You have one, right?
Just one.
You have 4. That's 5. Brad has 10. That's
15.
15. And Jan, you have 3. 18 world championships on this setting. So I think that's quite unique for for a little show as ours.
There's not many couches in the world where I can sit with other cyclists and feel out of place or a much lower level than anybody on this couch. But thanks for letting me sit here.
How much influence did you have on most of them?
The Worlds, not so much, but some other stuff. Yeah, we had some good times. My favorite was 2009 Milan-San Remo.
You pushed him up the stretcher.
I did not push him, but I'll never forget.
No, he was holding on to the car. He didn't get pushed.
I tell this story all the time. We're at the start of Milan-San Remo. We all know it starts at 9 a.m. You have to wake up at 6, have breakfast.
Terrible.
It's horrible. It's cold. It's dreary. But it's Milan. It's sort of like the fashion moment of cycling. And Cav's at the start in the morning. He's in the bus. He's rubbing stuff on his legs. I go, "What are you putting on your legs?" Self-tanner, mate. I want to look good. He was putting self-tanner on before Milan-San Remo. And he won with dark legs.
Look good, didn't it?
He did look good.
A little bit of business before we keep going. Today's show also brought to you by Athletic Greens. This has become, I know at least for George and I, and even Johan, this is a daily part of our regimen. Comes in these simple travel packs, otherwise known as AG1. Really amazing stuff. 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens, all for less than $3 a day. You can absolutely take control of your health. I'm super, as y'all watch me, like the veggies come around, I'm like, I think I'll pass. I don't need them. I got my AG1. Game changer for me. Let's make it easy. Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 of these free travel packs. All you got to do is head on over to athleticgreens.com/themove. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/themove. Last one of the show. And if y'all members were watching before the show, you're probably like sometimes you watch like these guys, they just talk about this shit. Like they don't believe it. You know, they might get paid. They're just saying it. Now, if you members watch, George and I were hurting so bad from what Sir Bradley Wiggins did to us last night. I was reaching for everything. Anna gave me Advil, Visine. I took a
I'm gonna
nap.
have to back up Bradley on this. I'm pretty sure you were the one that wanted to go do karaoke.
Yeah, as soon as we walked to the
I'm saying we're gonna. Let me tell you, and we have video, but we're gonna. Can I get done with the business? God. But yes, I mean, so if you members who were watching, George and I were again reaching for everything. We were hammering the ketone IQ at 4 p.m.
Yeah.
No bike ride was included. Nothing. Just to get here. I actually feel it.
I feel much better.
Y'all saw how I walked down here. They were like, dude, this guy's going to do a show. I don't think so. This stuff saved me. More than 60% of the peloton uses ketone IQ. HVMN has totally changed the game. Better taste, more effective, and less costly. Head on over to hvmn.com. The promo code is THEMOVE20 for 20% off. That's hvmn.com, and the promo code is THEMOVE20. Yeah, we're done with that stuff for the show. Good.
So what are these guys doing? What did you do after you won the world in Denmark? Did you go home, or you guys stayed out?
George, it's fun. You did hammer some ketones. These questions are excellent.
People want to know.
I agree. I was like, damn, that's a fucking great question.
We went to the bus and we had to wait for about an hour and a half to Mark done with his press and everything. We stayed on the bus. We always stayed on the bus as a team, and we were drinking champagne on the bus. And by the time Mark got there, it was pretty out of control. And then we went back to the hotel, and we all stayed in our cycling kit like 3 or 4 hours after the race. We were in the bar in the hotel, still drinking, still with our numbers on and everything.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. And then we went out. And,
I had to be up early.
Why?
I was flying away to do a shampoo, dandruff-free shampoo.
The next morning after Worlds.
I lost my passport in a nightclub. I couldn't go out.
Really?
Yeah, you see, there you have it. So that's probably happening right now.
And for those people who don't know, Bradley is like legitimate cycling. I mean, we think Johan is a cycling encyclopedia.
Yeah, this is another level.
It's one of these things. Like I don't know if the Tour of Spain does not come to this island very often, but it does. It may have had a stage win here.
It's never happened.
See, okay, well there you go. By the way, it's not.
Yeah,
in this town.
1991, Tour of Spain was here.
In this little town.
Yeah, recent times it hasn't.
Huh?
Recent times it hasn't.
But it's the kind of thing where it's like, oh, in 1991, Lucho Herrera won here or something. The guy can just bust this stuff out.
Or repeat an interview I did when I won 2000 whatever year, getting well again. You can repeat
and imitate. You can kind of imitate also. Can you imitate George when he said?
No, we don't have to do that, but we can do something.
George's got a bit of a lisp.
He does.
It's not fun. Like you're never safe. You're within 5 minutes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
5 minutes. He won't just do your accent.
Yeah.
Your voice, he'll do your mannerisms. You're never safe. And there's times when I'm talking and I'm like, I say something. I'm like, he's just got a soundbite there. I know that's getting repeated,
But then the comedic trick with it is to twist that soundbite.
Yeah.
And add to it and sensationalize it, and then turn it into something that's funny.
And every time you do it, you add a bit more and a bit more.
My favorite Cav story is the first time I meet Cav is at the bike, or maybe the first time we actually connected was at the bike show in Las Vegas, and we were at some restaurant. Mark Cavendish he was young, just a new pro, making some money. He walked in with 18 shopping bags. I said, and I immediately was like, oh, whoa. And then like an hour later, I fell in love with the kid, and I was like, I feel like I need to tell him.
And you've never, every time since, you've never ever spoken to me about going saving money since then.
Well, that's because you're still racing and making a shit ton of money, so I'm not worried about it anymore.
No, but it's good advice,
Yeah. I was like, dude, I don't know if we need to have 18 shopping bags. Like 2 or 3, okay, I get it. You're young.
What was in the shopping bag?
He had watches and jeans. How many pairs of jeans? I've never bought a pair of jeans in my life.
You went to Velvet Loafers.
I don't think I would. Now I don't know.
You had all this blingy shit.
I didn't gamble a lot. Everyone was going on the roulette table. I didn't gamble. No, I wasn't into that. I'd rather buy something. and gamble.
And Kev's not a drinker. You've never spent money on drink and things like that. You were into velvet loafers and Bacardi.
I like
You had this dream of opening a hot muffin shop. Remember? On the Isle of Man. You don't remember that?
You're mad. You're fucking mad, lad.
You had velvet loafers.
I would rock some velvet loafers.
No, you had different ones with tassels on the stuff. And white chinos. You did go for a phase.
Yeah, I went through a phase of
White chinos.
Like,
Drinking Bacardi, but not really drinking just to show.
Nah,
You did.
nah, I never drank that.
I remember Steve Cummings when you in red velvet loafers. You look like Mary Poppins.
You're lying. You know you're
No,
lying.
I'm not. That is true stories. You won't remember it.
No more than.
I went through a phase of
White chinos and velvet
Yeah.
loafers.
I didn't last.
Well,
With neckerchiefs.
What you want about? You stop it. Just stop it now.
So I'm also here to announce that we have a new show that we're going to launch under We Do and on the Move, and that's the Bradley and Cav show. Because this shit right here, we're all watching. I'm just like,
It gets
keep
better
going,
and better.
keep going.
But he's got his boys the same. Ben's over
Yeah,
here as
yeah.
well.
Yeah, Ben's been
And
with
he's
us.
just like a mini version.
Ben, where's Ben? He's right. He was my bodyguard last night, protecting me from his father.
He got
I
your
said
number
that-
last night, and he's like,
No, we're like buds. I don't even have your number.
I know.
We're like, I was like, your dad, he doesn't, sometimes he doesn't answer. Just call me.
Well, like you answer messages. Between you and Brad, probably the worst responders in the history of.
No.
He's really.
He's worse.
I don't like phones. What do they do? You used to ring the landline and leave a message, didn't you?
Yeah.
Can't do that anymore.
No, you cannot.
It's like camping, isn't it? I never got my head around camping.
Me neither.
You were into camping.
We're speaking about camping now.
You had all the little metal stuff for cooking too.
What are you on about? What?
You used to buy that magazine, Camping Weekly. Remember?
God, this will be a show. If I have anything to do with it, this is a standalone show. I'm out.
You went and invested it.
We have to apologize. We have to apologize to Remco Evenepoel. He won the Worlds, but I think that the opportunity to have these legends together gives us a good excuse.
I'm totally cool to put up a full disclaimer at the beginning of the show. If you want to hear about every detail of today's World Championships, stop.
Do not watch this.
If you want to hear some great shit, keep listening.
Yeah.
But everybody wants to know.
Yeah,
I feel like because I survived and I'm here and I'm proud of myself. I feel like everybody wants to know what happened last night. We had a simple dinner with the whole team, the whole crew from the camp. Walked back to the hotel, and I don't know who, but somebody said, "Well, let's go back out."
You.
It was you. It was definitely you.
All right, I don't remember that
Very
part.
unlike you. I never do want to go out.
I usually like to. By the way, I have a new nickname for Johan. Johan is no longer Belgian; he's now Irish. He did the Irish exit last night.
I knew better.
Where is Johan?
Yeah.
But so we ended up back out at the karaoke bar. We stayed out so late that and we should also say this on this show. We stayed out late enough past midnight that it was Liz Kreutz's birthday.
That's
Our
right.
dear friend Liz Kreutz, who's also here with us.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
36. Close enough. Okay. So then I was like, cool. Now we have an excuse to stay out. It's officially Liz's birthday. Like, let's fucking go. So we're celebrating Liz's birthday, and we ended up at this karaoke bar, or karaoke, whatever you call it. Karaoke. Listen. And it was full of Brits. It was full of. This is so messed up. It was full of British cyclists. So we walk in, and they're like, "Yes, let's party." And it was like legit karaoke. And Liz and I did a duet for her birthday. Journeys, Don't Stop Believing. You never know how it sounds on the other end. You're like, is this sounding okay? Like that's why they have that shit in their ear when they play concerts, because they can hear. I was like, I don't know if this sounds okay.
It didn't sound like that.
And then Bradley decides that he and I need to do a duet. And
It was good. It was off the scale.
and I was like, "What do you want to sing?" And he's like, "What did we do? We
Sweet
did
Carolina.
Sweet Carolina. Sweet, that too. This shows you. Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond.
Yeah.
How do you think that sounded?
It was pretty good, actually, but the stage got raided halfway through, didn't it? And George came up.
This is true. Yeah. Unfortunately, I did make a cameo in that.
Your gruffness added to the vocals.
And there's video footage. Apparently, there's video footage floating.
We deleted it.
No, Niels. I don't think Niels deleted it, but we will. I actually think that's the kind of stuff people need to see.
Yeah, I don't know about that. It's real. Yeah, probably not.
Did we say any bad words,
Discuss that
babe?
offline.
My buddy had a Neil Diamond cover band once called the Diamond Smugglers. So they took all the lyrics and they just tweaked them a little, just a little raunchier. That's some shit we. No, that was a long time ago. That's something we could sing.
Oh.
But hey, I made it.
Good, man.
That was good.
You didn't. I was on the ride today.
I was on the road thing.
We're all well aware.
It was my day off today. Sunday's the day of God. I don't mind on Sunday. I'm a very religious man. I am.
Anything else we missed, George? You're firing today.
I missed everything yesterday, so you.
Quick shout out to the podium. I mean, Chris Laporte was second.
This kid, this is a bike ride. This guy, and granted, he went to a team that I think changed him as a rider. You put a number on that kid's back. You don't. I mean, Alaphilippe is an obvious great example. There's not a lot of French riders that race like that. This kid's a bike racer.
And my pick, who didn't win but got third place, Michael Matthews, which you said there's no way he'll make it.
He listens to the show.
He said there was no way he'd make it.
I also said he had no chance.
But
then, if you look, okay, Evenepoel obviously puts on a great show, but
the race was neutralized.
But then you have guys like Sagan, Christoph. They're all up there. That these guys are strong guys, but sprinters.
Yeah.
So the race was kind of, I don't know what happened or if they came back at the last moment. But obviously, if these guys are up there, Michael Matthews has to be up there also.
Yeah. But on paper, you're thinking 4,000 meters of climbing, almost 13,000 feet. You're like, how is it? But I do think, even though they're 2 minutes behind, it's not a lot of time. That's a completely different race. I'm also going to put in this disclaimer at the start of the show that if you want to hear more about the World Championships, go to minute 49. We talk about it a little bit again.
Yeah.
You know what was it? What I was surprised about in the race actually, when you see the course and a map of the course, I was like, "What? You got that climb, but the amount of 90-degree corners, it's going to be stop, start, stop."
Mm-hmm.
Then watching it turned it on, the roads are super
Yeah, they're
wide,
big roads,
and it flowed the whole way. So that would change the dynamic of course. You predict when you just look at the map on that anyway,
Yeah.
But still, Mark. I think that's also. You're in a good position to give your opinion on that. But nowadays, a course like this with 4,000 meters of climbing, it's basically. Almost everybody can do that now.
Yeah.
Now you have to be a climber.
You have to be able to do that to be in the front. And normally, if you have a 4,000 meter circuit, 10 years ago there was 5 or 6 strong guys in the front, right?
Yeah. Now, the level now.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about to know how you feel that the level has really
just
gone up.
How it races. There's no. You used to go. Remember, you went slow, but you go fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now it's just fast
all the time.
It's just all the time. That's why I've had to go scientifically training.
Yeah.
You have to know what you can do and sustain. And
How scientific have you gone? Thresholds as well.
Yeah. I don't know what my numbers need. Levels. Whatever you got.
What's your threshold?
I can't give that secret.
Say that louder.
I can't give all that stuff away because it's hard.
But you're Remco's teammate, so is he like the poster boy of focus on numbers, training on numbers, knowing what he can do?
Yeah.
Because it looks like that. Once he's going, he's there and he knows what he can do.
Yeah.
And he just does it till the end.
Yeah, he's pretty. Yeah, he knows all that. But you know what? He's open to listen to new things as well. Like for instance, if you see his change, we talked last year. This is not any way taking any credit for anything. He always puts me you see how he's out of saddle now?
Different.
More solid.
It's different.
Yeah. We worked on that camp last year. It was like I couldn't get, sprint numbers up. Don't you get stronger. Use your bike a bit more.
Yeah.
Automatically powering up and you see it different.
Yeah.
It's he'll absorb it. It's pretty impressive actually. It's really good.
Awesome. All right.
Great.
Boys, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
George,
guys.
Cav,
It's
Wiggo.
such an honor. Such an honor to have you.
Absolutely. Should we mark our calendars for next year? Just put it on the calendars?
Vegas.
Vegas. Yeah, Gav can do some shopping. It's been a long time since I saw you in person. This is kind of nice for me. You were on our show this summer. I saw you on the screen, but I was fucking looked the same you did 20 years ago. How's that happen? Anyways, thanks for tuning in, everybody, and it's been special. Thanks, boys.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah.